my boy with what may be his best idea ever. Here's what happened. My son comes home and he's got an oven in the back of his truck with his friends. So that was confusing. So I said, Shay, why do you have an oven exactly? And he's like, because I'm going to powder coat my dirt bike parts. Like, obvious, right? So I'm just thinking, yeah, okay, sure, you're going to do that. Well, he did. He bought the gun. He's got the oven. We wired up an outlet down in the basement. He's powder coating, and it's coming out pretty awesome, which gave a pretty clear direction for some things on the Corvette. Many colors you can powder coat. A lot of the chrome on the Corvette's bad. Pricing out chrome, you may want an alternative. So this video that I already shot everything and realized there's no intro, so we're gonna do it like Fitzy. We're gonna take parts like this. This one actually was quite a bit of work in this general area. We'll get into all that in the video, but we're gonna take some parts on the Corvette, some grill parts, a lot of pot metal, and we're gonna repair them. We're gonna clean them. We're gonna powder coat them, and we're gonna see how it goes. So this video here, it was gonna be the prep and the powder coating all in one. It was just a lot of prep, so I think we're gonna break it up. I'll send all this stuff to Joe. He'll make a video on just taking the parts and repairing the parts with JB Weld. JB Weld, metal reinforced. I'm hoping it, can hold the charge that the powder coat needs, and we'll see. We're to the powder state or powder coat part now. Everything else, which I was a little leery about it working, everything's worked pretty good. So watch the video, watch to the end, like, subscribe, share. We really appreciate all that. And this was a pretty fun project. These are the pieces we're gonna start with. The front grille assembly. 3 pieces. You have your driver's side front grille, passenger side front grille, center front grille, which this guy's gonna get covered up by the USA 1 license plate, inevitably. So these are some type of cast alloy. They're not real metal, pot metal, I would say, but they're in pretty good shape. The grill is great. There is casting slag on it. So I'll just take a flat file, which I already did to this one, and it comes right off nice and easy. The driver's side is in excellent shape. No chips, maybe little ones, but I can just file them down smooth and you won't even notice a scallop or anything like that. The one thing I do want to do is possibly put them in the oven at, I don't know, 450 degrees. Just see if I can get this chrome leafing, for lack of a better word, off, because it does come off with the sandblaster. It just didn't come off completely. So driver's side, center, nice. Whoa, passenger side. We've had an issue with this passenger side. Still repairing fiberglass cracks. So something major happened over there and broke out all of this part of the outside flange, which actually is very important. This ties into, there's a bumper that goes up right here and right here in between the center. And then this, let's go over here where it's actually exists. This will come all the way up to the actual bumper, and it kind of frames in this grill and the signal light. So I looked at replacing this grill, and other than this, outside frame being missing, it's in pretty good shape. And when I looked at how much it would be to replace one, you know, not in perfect condition, it's about $600, $1,200 for a pair of these grills, not including the center. So that is just not a possibility. At least it's not a possibility without exhausting every possible way to fix it. Now again, I'm not building this car to sell it to someone. I'm building it for one of my daughters, probably Grace, I think. So if we can get this to look nice and, you know, smooth and correct, when we powder coat it, I don't believe you'll see it. And my idea is to form this up, scribe in a piece of wood, plywood, and then make a form that will basically be the inside shape of this. It'll be reversed, so it'll be here. And this shape actually, it moves. It starts to stand up as it goes into this corner, and then down here, it's still different. So it's going to be a bit of sculpting more than cutting and measuring angles. And if I form up a form to that, all the way down and around, I can use JB Weld and hopefully make it solid again. Powder coat over it and you won't even see. Now I did use some JB Weld to fix maybe a 1/2 inch chip there. It worked great. You have to use something that won't stick for the form, which I found that, what was it, rubber. It will not stick to rubber. So after I make this form, I'm thinking I'm going to spray it with some Flex Seal and it should release, or it will stay part of the form and break off the grill, and that's when I crack open a Bud Light. So we'll see. All right, I'm gonna move some things, get set up, start working on the form. All right, let's just review what that 25 seconds showed. It showed a lot of time. It's kind of like when you used to watch This Old House, and it took like an afternoon to build a addition. It was fine. Well, in actuality, we got it. It just takes a little bit of time and a little bit of patience, and you know, you just have to see what's happening with the piece. This is gonna live in like so. Right, so this piece of MDF is just the base. So what we want it to do is live right along this little flange here, a little bit low. So if I slide this in, you can see it's not a perfect scribe, but that's fine because we're gonna just build pieces off, which to get this angle, I just trace that onto this piece of wood here. So that's the parallel line representing this line. And that's the angle of the grill that it's supposed to be. So I use the combination square to get this angle here and this angle here. It's relatively straight right there. And then it has a radius on the top, and it will get cut or grinded to the correct width after it's all in. So basically, those marks produced a block of wood that looked like that. Then with a little bit of shaping, it looks like this. I just used a block plane because I'm very comfortable with it and kind of took off all the material that shouldn't have been there. So now when we put this together, right where she wants to live, which is right about there, just hold her. This block right here should slip down and create a very nice fit up against there. As you can see, it's nice and tight. So I'm confident that that will look as flawless as we can. Right about here, this line, I drew a little line where I think it's going to change. So my idea is I'm going to add this block. Now I'm going to make this block to where the corner starts. And then I'll just jig, this will be a lot of shaping here. So this drawing, as you can see, if that grill is straight, that's the outside profile, which is really what we care about. And it's a 1/16 of an inch thick, so we can adjust to that. So now, just to be clear, how I got the shape of this block here, which goes here very nicely, which will be the shape of this. Oh, I wonder, could we do that? Yeah, pretty good. Pretty gosh darn good. So what I did, you have to use the other one because it's a mirror image. Drew a straight line here, so I have some reference to this, you know, the top of the grill. And then at that point, we can just trace the outside profile of this piece. I used the table saw and cut 2 angles. Oh yeah, that will do. So I've got a few pieces made. I'm just trying to get this corner piece block made, which I've got it in there pretty nice. Follows really, really well. So I just wanted to show one part. It's woodworking, but you know, it's the way that I was looking at it, and maybe it'll help you out. So if we look at this, it's not square. So since our piece is going to live right in here, we want to put a bevel on whatever form we make. And then we can shape the top side to whatever, but we want it to fit nice up against this sidewall of the frame. So once we have the shape and it's fitting well, I like to use routers quite a bit. I have a little router table. It's very nice. You can repeat patterns with these bits. It's called a pattern bit. It's got a ball bearing on the bottom. Whatever that rides on the template, it cuts. So we'll use this piece as a template, and basically we just want to bevel it out so it fits in. So I always put marks on because it can get confusing. But this will basically ride along here. But it will give you a bevel. So now this, I may still have to mess around with it to make it really fit nice and tight, and then we'll contour the top. I just wanted to point out that, you know, if you own a Corvette, you may get into a spot where you need to make a form. I don't know if it would be the worst thing in the world to have a few woodworking tools. So you could make your own mold for a part that you need. If you have routers and maybe a table saw, I understand that at this point you'll have to tell your wife that you're into Corvettes and woodworking, but that's a pretty perfect, consistent bevel on a piece that'll go in here. So I just thought I'd show that part because that's how I'm making a lot of these parts. Just straight woodworking tools. This is what we have right now. We have that piece that fits really nicely up against there. The top piece fits up there. And I just made a rectangular block that fits the profile nice and tight. So now what we have to do is go from that thick down to there. And I'm gonna sand a lot of it off on my wide belt sander, and then we'll start shaping from there with probably a rasp. Pretty well formed. That piece here, that's a repair. If we look, right there's the turn of the frame. Again, that's the previous JB Weld. And all the way down here, we have it right where the inside should be. And it lines up nicely there. The next step will be to spray it with some Flex Seal. You just need some type of rubberized coating on it so that the JB Weld does not stick to the wood, because it will. And then that's the way it would have to go on the Corvette. Not a good look. That's it, right there. All looks pretty even. Hopefully it doesn't stick to the Flex Seal. Hopefully this whole thing is the right contour. I know it's good here and I know it's good here, but this whole area is just like the artistry of it. And then hopefully it sticks to this right in here. And then last, hopefully it takes powder coat. So I like my chances. There's only like 9 more things that could go wrong that would make this completely useless. So it's go time. We put the Flex Seal on the form here. We've done all we can do. It's fitting in very nicely. Had to clamp it to get exactly where I want it. So I'm gonna set it up on the tripod, mix up some JB Weld. We'll put it on. We'll hope, we'll pray. And we'll see how it turns out. Well, there she is. It was kind of like icing a cake. Used the original JB Weld. Set time in 4 to 6 hours, so that's nice. you can kind of do it nice and slow. So we'll see what the next step is. Well, this is the part of the project where I should really check and make sure I have Bud Light, because it's time to separate. I was hoping it was just gonna pop off of this form that we sprayed with Flex Seal, but it's it's pretty on there. I trimmed it along this edge here with a handsaw, and it did pop off, but I don't believe that I will get that to come off. But in other news, it's pretty good. I think if we can get it separated, there's gonna be some highs and lows, but I think we can shape this into, I think we have something here. We can shape that into a profile that works. And the reason I spent so much time on the inside form, because as you can see, I just had to glob on top of that. So the inside will be nicely shaped, while the outside is just material that I can take off. But remember, this profile is made to go onto the Corvette, so I didn't want to have to shape and grind the inside of the profile, like right there, because that would be really, really hard. So if I can get the outside overbuilt, inside perfect, I think that we'll be okay. So what I'm going to do, I've got a plan B if it breaks out and it doesn't work, but plan A, we're gonna put this entire thing into the oven. I looked it up, and the Flex Seal is good up to about 350 degrees. So I think if I can get this piece 350 degrees, this will kind of reconstitute back into a soft rubber, which then I should be able to just kind of peel it off, I'm hoping. Then we can get to grinding the outside. I'm not gonna use my actual oven. I'm gonna use the oven that Seamus picked up with his buddies for $50 off of Craigslist, and that's what he's been doing all of his powder coating in. But we'll put it in there. Wow, I was just going to check it, and it pulled right off. It worked perfect. About 250. I mean, it just came right off. And look how nice the back of it is. I mean, that is a formed piece. Wow. All right, this is very hot. I'm gonna shut the camera off and let this cool down, and we'll look at it again. I couldn't leave well enough alone. It was real good. It is really good. But I just put another little coat on top. I'd rather have too much material than not enough. And I definitely had some low spots. I saw this edge starting to pop through, so I just did another coat on top of it. The second coat was much easier. I think this is gonna really help us out with straightness. Like, as you can see, like, there's not really that many divots in this. And it does contour pretty nicely. Focus. Oh man, I am so pumped. Tomorrow, we'll fit it on the car, make sure. There should be a screw hole right about there. So what I'm gonna do is just apply a little material to the backside when I place that. I think I'm gonna use the high heat, like the stick, this right here. And I'll just make like a little beehive type looking thing. That'll allow me to get this countersunk look. So, you know, we're gonna try, make it as close to perfect as possible. And then There's always if the powder coat is going to stick to it. I'm sure it'll stick to it. Are we going to get a really defined line of where it is? I think we won. I think this is going to be killer. I can't believe it. There's like a legitimate frame. I'm just so happy. I'm very proud of this backside. That is killer. Sorry, I know it's not focused, but you know. See all that black? There was nothing there. Nothing. All right, so it's a little hard to see. I think I have to put the bumper on so we can scribe in this piece, but